Hey gang, Ronan here. Welcome back to the Retrocade. It's Sunday. That means it's time for Suckerpunch Sunday. And for this week, we're going to actually go a little bit to the edge of where we normally have been as far as fighting games go, and go to 2005 and the PS2 to play a game that, until I realized it was actually a possible option for me to try out, I genuinely didn't know it existed, other than the fact that I certainly know where it came from. We are going to play Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks from 2005, made by Midway Games and Midway Studios Los Angeles for the PlayStation 2. Now, this game was developed as a spin-off of, obviously, the Mortal Kombat franchise, and it's actually a retelling of events that took place in Mortal Kombat 2, which is a game that I really don't like, and I'll get to that a little bit further as we go. So, this game is laid out as a single player, or you can do co-op mode, even though it's KO-OP, because of course it's Mortal Kombat, everything's got to have a K on it. You can do versus mode, you can do load game, do options, do different content. I'm just going to do a single player option, and you can choose from the Shaolin Monks that take up the game, Kung Lao or Liu Kang. Your other two options that you have to unlock are Scorpion, who is behind Liu Kang, and Baraka, who is behind Kung Lao. So, for the sake of argument, I'm just going to go ahead and take Liu Kang. Now, there is a cutscene here, but for some reason, my emulator, which is PCSX2 1.6.0, isn't having it in terms of being able to show it. So, if you don't know the backstory of this game, or you want to know more, I got a little bit of a look at it. But we're just going to fast forward through it because we got 30 minutes to cover, and this first part of the game is the tutorial anyway. So it starts out in Goro's lair. And again, this game came out in September 2005. Ed Boon, the guy who was the brains behind Mortal Kombat way back in the 90s, was the director of this game, and he was one of the producers, so he did have a hand in it. And part of the reason that it took so long for this to come out was that they were originally, Midway was looking to do spin-off games of Mortal Kombat. And Ryan is just basically explaining the rules of the tutorial here, so you're not missing anything big. But because in the late 90s they came out with Mortal Kombat Mythology, Sub-Zero, and then Special Forces, and neither of them met any sort of good reception, they put off coming out with this game for another 4 years. And then finally in 2005, they finally released it. So how this game works is pretty simple. You've got your left control stick, moves things around. You can't really adjust the camera too much. You can move to the left and the right with the right stick. You can go up, you can go down a little bit, but that's it. So you do not have full 360-degree control. And in order to get this tutorial moving, you just go and grab the blue Mortal Kombat emblem, and now you will see how this all transpires. Now, the easiest way to put this together is that if you've played the original versions of God of War, or even if you played the newer versions of God of War, this is going to be pretty straightforward, because you've got your quick attacks, your launching attacks, your power attacks, and your throws. Now, in this tutorial, we're going to break down everything that Liu Kang can do, and I'm going to try and knock this out as soon as possible, because I want to move forward with the game. Now, you do running attacks as well. And if you want to grab a guy and throw him, you grab the R2 button. Now, off the bat, one thing that I do notice is that for a PlayStation 2 game, the graphics are not that great. Now, part of it may be the emulator, but I like to think that because I'm playing on a computer that's got more than enough power and resolution on my video card to be able to handle PlayStation 2 style graphics. And I've exemplified that playing other PS2 games and showing them on this channel. That doesn't speak well of what you get, potentially, moving forward in this game. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot of blood. There's going to be a lot of gore. So now we can do our special attacks as we get more baddies come through. So you hold R1, and you do the Liu Kang fireball with the high knee. And you can do the throw. You can do the Liu Kang jump kick if you press R1 and circle. You can launch him up in the air if you do R1 and triangle. So, the X button, by the way, allows you to jump. So now we have to do the running attacks to show we can do a running attack. Now, I have played Mortal Kombat games quite a bit when I was a teenager. Like I said, I don't like Mortal Kombat 2, upon which this game is based. And that's mainly because the end of the game, if you play it on one player, and I'm not being hyperbolic and I'm not being a wuss about it, it's that Kintaro, who is the Goro clone at the end of that game, is one of the cheapest and most frustratingly rigged bosses I have ever played in a game, full stop. Now, I wonder if I can get up there and grab that. I don't think I can. There's a floating red yin-yang that's over there. When I remember as a kid, my brother and my friends would go to the video store and they would want to play Mortal Kombat, and they would get Mortal Kombat 2. And I would get all the way through it, and I wasn't great at it. But I sure as heck wasn't awful. Especially like most fighting games, the more you play it, the better you get. It was get good before get good was a thing. And I got all the way to the end, and Kintaro was the last boss. And Kintaro is, if you don't know this game, you don't know the series. Goro, of whose lair I am currently occupying, he's a giant four-handed, half-dragon, half-man hybrid. And you beat him in the first game, and then a slightly faster and more annoying version of him called Kintaro is the big baddie in the second game. And I got him down to the point where, and it's something that happens a lot in fighting games, where you can get an opponent down to maybe a half a pixel of life. And then they will spring out and do their special move. And Kintaro hit me 3 times in a row with his teleport jump stomp move. And it was the only time in my life that I came extremely close to not just smashing my console, which would have been completely beside the point, but also taking the game out of the console and smashing it to pieces. Even though I would have been on the hook for replacing it, I didn't care. I was so pissed off that I got so close to beating the game, and then out of nowhere, it pulled such a cheap Minimax crap move on me. And I swore that I would never play Mortal Kombat 2 again. And to this day, I still haven't. And you could say, well, Ronan, you're bitter. Damn right I'm bitter. You know? Yeah. When you put that much time and energy into a game, it's one of those where it's one of those ways that I can understand how people get frustrated with games like Dark Souls. By the way, vote on our poll up on the community page. Still got time. Shameless plug out of the way. But you sit there and you work to try and get through a part of a game, or you try and beat a boss, and you get so close and you're struggling, and you finally reach a point where you think you got it, and you got the upper hand, and all of a sudden, nope! It pulls this thing on you, and you just go, are you freaking kidding me? Okay, now that that's done. Ooh, like every sword. A scimitar at that. Whoa, it does some slicing. It slices, it dices. Look at that tomato. If you're old enough to know that commercial, I hope that made you laugh. If not, ask your folks, or dare I even say your grandparents, they'll explain it. Now, Shaolin Monks, by all accounts, didn't do terribly when it was released. It actually sold over 1 million copies, making it a commercial success. And it did come out on both the PS2 and the Xbox. Oh. Hello, my name is Liu Kang. I'll be your acupuncturist today. Up here, Kang. Yeah. This is the way off the island. Well, there's Johnny Cage. Alright, so we're gonna go this way. Up this way.
Look, something by the moon.
And now I'm assuming we're going to have to fight a boss because we are on the platform where Scorpion is.
It is another of Shang Tsung's servants. I do not serve Shang Tsung.
But this isn't Scorpion.
Must keep
So as long as you... Whoa, that's not what I wanted to do. I don't want to go that way. I don't want to die. Chuck him over there and splat. Okay, so we get through this part. And we're only 15 minutes in. So now we've moved forward. And in its reviews, the overall rankings for this game aren't terrible. On the Xbox, it actually got a slightly higher ranking of 81% to the PS2 79%. And that's based on about 50 reviews each. GameSpot gave it a 7.5 out of 10. IGN gave it an 8 out of 10. Team Xbox 8.7. XPlay 3.5. And OneUp.com gave it a B+. I am mighty!
You now have the power to execute a fatality. You must execute a fatality to open these gates.
Aha.
Performing combination attacks builds your ability to execute a fatality.
As an aside, in all the times I played Mortal Kombat, even though it makes complete sense, there was no indication given in any of the versions that I played as a kid that Liu Kang was a Bruce Lee clone. At least not to the point where you got his textbook shriek. But since this game is also called Shaolin Monk and one of my favorite Bruce Lee movies of all time, as well as one of my favorite movies full stop,
Now hit the enemy with the fatality stunner.
is Enter the Dragon. So now I gotta go down, up. Punch his head off, uses the soccer ball, kick him and he's dead. Okay.
Excellent. If you need further help,
No, Ryan, I need you to shut up and let me whack this guy. And get out of here. There was a sequel that was planned for this game that was going to focus on Scorpion and Sub-Zero called Mortal Kombat Fire and Ice. But because of financial restrictions, it got pulled. Although Ed Boon later said that Shaolin Monks was far and away the best spinoff we ever came up with. And we were in talks to do a sequel before the studio they were going to work with shut down.
more secrets were available if you use the help of
Oop. So you have to memorize the finisher in order to be able to pull it off, and since I didn't remember it, I don't get to use it. But I think I'll be okay. Although I just lost quite a bit of blood doing this.
also be used to allow you to progress. Knock an enemy into the weak wall to the left to escape this area. Throw an enemy into the
Thank you. Now, the fact that I'm fighting basically the same enemies over and over again in this early level isn't really great. I mean, I'd like to have a little bit more of a challenge. I mean, these guys aren't awful. And I get how they are primarily just, they're the training dummies. There. Go away, don't do it a second time. There was also talk of doing an HD remake for this game in 2013, but again, they said because of financial issues, it was likely not going to happen. So this is a save point, which is self-explanatory. And we're about 20 minutes in. Now, like all Mortal Kombat games, there was more than a little bit of controversy around this because apparently there was an advertisement that was created that had the tagline "Blood on the Carpet." It was made by a UK firm and it was condemned by the Advertising Standards Authority as condoning and glorifying violence. The commercial, quote, features a boardroom scene in which a Mr. Lin, the mysterious troubleshooter at a sales meeting, instructs two men to fight, punches lead to a pen being stabbed into an arm, then a water jug smashed over an executive's head before his heart is ripped from his chest. Michelin concludes the proceedings by decapitating another executive with his hat, end quote. The result of the complaint was apparently we told Midway not to repeat the approach and told them to consult copy advice before producing future ads. Well, that sounds about right for the early aughts, late 90s mentality of trying to convince people that anything that shows any degree of
Enemies and hazards could be anywhere. Try looking around.
violence means it is going to be misconstrued in the worst way possible. And being somebody who worked in media for a very, very long time, I know better than most people how this actually works. And it's not that simple. So now it looks like we're going back the way we came. And even though we don't get the full camera control, I will say the controls aren't terrible. It is a bit annoying. And that is a big old orc with a club. Haughty Warlord, okay. Well, this will be good because we'll get a chance to take him out. Or he will take us out, one of the two. Okay, now we just gotta keep chopping away at his underlings here. Hopefully we don't have to do a fatality to take him out. Nope. We just took him out. So we beat our first boss.
You now have the ability to perform a long jump.
Well, that's great as I get kicked in the head. Okay, so there's the long jump. Ow! Get out of the spikes, Lou. If I remember right, we go, I think we go out this way. Or not. So I think, whoa, aha. Oh! Ouch. Well, let's see if I can get back up to the top here. Ow. Not helpful. See, this is where the controls are not your friend. Or the camera. And this was something that was very much a problem in the early 2000s with games like this, with games like Tomb Raider, is that the limitations of what you could do in a 2.5 to 3 degree space had gotten such that I don't know how we can get across this. Really? Alright, let's see if we can get up here. We've got to be able to, because otherwise that's why they gave us the ability. Alright. Well, in a nutshell, this has been Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks from 2005 for the PS2. So, now we reach the big three questions. Is it a good game? I mean, for its time, is it a terrible game? Probably not. I don't think it's anything overly special. Especially considering the fact that I can't seem to get across this simple frickin' jump. I do like the fact that Midway tried to do something different with Mortal Kombat. Now, obviously, with what they're doing and completely overhauling it, with Mortal Kombat 1, I'll be interested to see what the overall response to that's been. I've seen all the commercials with Dave Bautista in it. It's not enough to make me think about going and picking it up and trying it out. Well, I can't go that way. But I think I can give Midway 2 for trying on this. Part of me is curious if they had done an HD game based on it, would it have been any better? Odds are probably not, but I think being upgraded to new gen architecture, at least by PS3 or PS4 standards, might not have been an overly terrible thing. Ow. Now, is this a game that I would recommend to people? I would say if you're a Mortal Kombat fan and never tried it, give it a whirl. Your results may vary. You may figure out how to do this far better than I can. Especially because, given the fact that we are running horizontally in what should be a three-dimensional screen, we should be able to just run straight across and make it over. Instead, I just pole vaulted myself right in there. So, I'm just going to leave this be. So, you know, the controls are very much a product of their time. The combat style is, like I said, it's a bit repetitive. If you played God of War, it won't be anything unfamiliar to you. But, you know, is it the best fighting game I've played or the best platform game? No. Hardly. But I have a feeling that it may be one that if I had played it back in the day, I might have given it a bit more run. But by comparison to what's available now, it's probably a game I won't play again. But again, that was the whole point of putting this channel and putting this series together, was to try games like this out that I'd never really taken the time to do a dive into. So that is Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, and that is Suckerpunch Sunday. Now, like I said, we are back to normal service, thanks to me getting out of the the craziness of my work life outside the Retrocade. So normal service should be back up and running here going forward. Even better, I'm on vacation this week, so I am I am able to start recording my next playthrough. The only hint I will give you is, yes, it's going to be another role-playing game, but it will not be a classic role-playing game that you may think of. So consider that as we go, and then look for new episodes of that to be showing up, I'm hoping, in the next week or so. Also, be sure to vote on our poll question. Like I said, do you want to see me, Ronan, a 40-something-year-old first-generation gamer, finally take a dive into the Soulsborne universe and play Dark Souls Remastered? Again, it's a game that I have seen a million videos on. I've heard a million things about it. I have been told you can't really consider yourself a true gamer in the modern age without playing it. And it's got enough retro elements to it from what I've seen that I think it would be interesting. It certainly doesn't seem like it'd be any more difficult than the old Ghosts and Goblins games, or even the old Metroid games that I played as a kid. And I may say that being completely full of hubris as I say so. So understand, if that means I'm going to be eating crow if I go and move forward with this, I'll make sure to save you a plate. So also, keep in mind, we are looking to potentially expand the Retrocade out. That is some decisions that I'm looking to make as we get closer to 200 videos, to add maybe another console or two. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that, because that means more potential content, and even more importantly, more games that you may not know of, and other games that I haven't played. So if you have ideas for that, keep that in mind. I want to keep this still limited to the golden age from about the early to mid 1980s with the Nintendo Entertainment System through to the PS2 era. I don't want to go to the PS3. I don't want to go to the PS4 by far, mainly because trying to get those games on an emulator is nigh on impossible. And I don't want to bring in PC games because there's a million PC games I could play, but my love was originally for consoles, so that's where I want to stay with. So, in the meantime, if there is a game from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive, SNK, Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below, or drop me a line on Instagram or Threads. Give me any game from those consoles you want. And my name is Ron. It's been great to spend the Sucker Punch Sunday with you. Be safe, be well, happy gaming, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye!